This is Baghdad-born Genghis Khan Elkadiri, a Houston-based trading tycoon who says he used to work for the Iraqi government as its general trade agent.
We used to buy all the rice grown in Texas.
He's traveled to Baghdad to collect more than $1 million in trade he says he wasn't paid for by the ousted Hussein government more than a decade ago. Driving into Baghdad from Jordan, Iraqi police lined the streets. The Turkish embassy had just been bombed, and they were on edge. What? Police?
No camera.
No camera? Okay. As we rolled along the north bank of the Tigris River on our way to the famous, now embattled Palestine Hotel, I was wondering what Genghis Khan Elkadiri had to say to me. Back in Houston, he was so paranoid about Saddam and his secret agents that he even had a picture of the tyrant over his fireplace right up until the second invasion began.
I have no choice.
Well, why?
How did you know?
I was told that you had a picture.
Yeah, I had a big picture of Saddam Hussein.
Why?
Habibi, somebody comes, I am known over there. I am considered, you see, when you are important in Iraq and your family important, your movement outside the country is measured.
And if his travel back to Baghdad had been measured, what was in store for him and us? So on my first night in Baghdad, when Genghis Khan Elkadiri showed up with his nephew, driver and bodyguard Sabah, I wanted an answer to the big question. So what's the story, Khan?
The story, the situation here is in a very poor situation. It's like a ship lost in the middle of the sea. Everybody wants to be the captain. You understand?
Yes.
The Shiites want to be the captains. The Sunnis want to be the captains. The Americans want to be the captains. I think the Americans are sorry they came here. They didn't bargain for all this. Do you understand?
Yeah. Okay, this is the palace. Yeah, I did understand, but despite what he told me the night before, Genghis Khan wasn't about to give up. And he may have thought my presence with my little video camera might make a difference. He was off to the palace for his third visit.
Once you won the war, you didn't have to keep pounding on them. But that's the nature of the beast.
The nature of the beast now at the palace was security, and I risked getting my camera taken and smashed during this visit because security was so tight and cameras weren't allowed. So I had to get my shot surreptitiously. He wanted to once more file his claim for more than $1 million in food he'd sent to Iraq more than 11 years ago. So back in the Iraqi palace complex in Baghdad, Genghis Khan once again waited to talk to someone.
Go ahead, go sit down and just wait.
Okay. We will sit.
We will be waiting for
This was the Iraqi Assistance Center. Put your hand in our hand to help each other's. That's what the sign said. After a long wait, we were finally shuttled by bus toward the main palace. We were under constant watch and were monitored carefully. In a bus escorted by armed guards, and past several more checkpoints and several layers of troops and security, past a maze of bomb barriers, past all the bomb damage. The palace complex is enormous. We were finally granted entrance, and this woman, Iraqi national Christina Georges, was sent down by Bremer's office to listen to Genghis Khan's claim. In English and Arabic, Khan made his case once more for the more than $1 million in food he'd shipped to Iraq in 1992, and that he couldn't have filed a claim against the frozen Iraqi assets years ago because
we put our life, the life of my family in danger.
Have you met the ambassador, Paul Bremer? I have my own meeting with him. I'll mention about your I'll get you the appointment with him, don't worry.
Then she took us into Saddam's great meeting hall, because the meeting with Bremer wouldn't be today. In fact, it would never take place. Did I find the weapons of mass destruction?
That's his Scud missiles.
Those are his Scuds?
Yeah, and they are pointed to heaven to make the judgment on the Americans. And that's the chair where he condemned all the Iraqis and people who did him wrong, right from that chair right there.
Really?
Yes, sir.
And Genghis Khan, half a world away from Houston, now in the city of his birth, was invited to sit in the infamous chair.
Wait a minute, wait.
What are your thoughts sitting in Saddam's chair?
Saddam had sat on this chair. He didn't know how to keep it, unfortunately. If he managed to play ball with America and take it easy on his own people, he would have lasted on this chair and in this palace. What a palace. Looks like a palace of the 1,000 Night and One Night. The people that loved America, they talked America was coming here to liberate them, and they were received as liberators. 1 week, 10 days later, they realized this is not liberation, it's occupation. And their sentiment changed, and that's why there's so much casualties and difficulties. And every Yahoo's trying to get even with America. People without jobs, they have no food to eat. They lost all their belonging many years back. On top of that, at least during Saddam's time, they had a job and they were given food ration.
This had been Khan's third visit to attempt to get an audience at the palace where Administrator Paul Bremer rules Iraq. At night at the Elkadiri compound in Baghdad, Khan had this to say about Bremer.
So he's sitting in the ivory of Saddam's palace. I don't know, he knows what's going on or he doesn't know. And every time comes on TV, everything is okay. We are making progress. Yet poor Slav American soldiers getting killed one after another like cockroaches. These people don't have the heart. We said American soldiers should not go and work and go patrol. Leave the patrol and all these things to the Iraqi themselves. They know how to handle their own business. I don't know why this guy doesn't come to see me.